Welcome to the Bitcoin Beat. I'm Shaun. Sorry for some of the prior issues. I know we've had a couple missed episodes. We had a planned week off and then had some scheduling and miscommunication issues and then some technical issues on one end. We're going to be making some changes going forward with the Bitcoin Beat, but today I wanted to share something with you that quite honestly might piss you off. It's something that's been bothering me for a couple months now, and I'm going to share it with you all so you can make up your own mind on it. But first, I do want to share something that was positive. And this last week, we had our block party again. We almost hit 1,000 Bitcoiners mining together, pooling their hash rate together to try to mine a Bitcoin block. Last week, we ended up hitting a block. I have a link below on my personal page, goes over more details, how you can join, what it's all about. But this week, we hit a record. And we did not get a block, but we had 823 unique addresses together, mining together, whether that was with bringing miners over and pointing it to the pool or renting hash rate and pointing it to the pool. And believe it or not, we hit over 4 exahash. Now, don't get too worried about what that means. If you have like a little personal miner at home, like a BitAxe that does 1.2 terahash, this is basically the equivalent of over 4 million terahash. We did kind of peak at 5 just for a brief moment. It kind of ebbs and flows a little bit. So roughly it's like having 4 million BitAxes all churning away trying to get a block at the same time. But we didn't hit a block. This next Saturday we're going to do it again. We already have over 150 people that are already in there to be able to do that. So I'm pretty excited about that. If you've been following it, you know why. Definitely check it out if you want on my personal page. I'll have some other links below talking about it as well. I did want to hit on this topic that's kind of been making waves on X, which is getting me thinking a lot more about the main topic of what I want to bring up today. And that's this post that kind of went somewhat viral from Saifedean. Saifedean had retweeted Nick Fuentes. Now, if I were to say that 2 years ago, that on X, Saifedean would be retweeting a video by Nick Fuentes, I'd tell you you're crazy. I'm never going to delete this app. This app is amazing. But in it, Nick calls out the Trump family for their grift. They were dumping tokens, crypto projects on retail. That's people like you and me, using us as exit liquidity to make them hundreds of millions of dollars. And they bragged about this recently, which is kind of why a lot of people have been taking shots like Nick Fuentes. And it's pretty justified. Yes, the Trump family owns a lot of Bitcoin. But I can't help but think back to when I heard Eric Trump talk about these grifts in a semi-private setting that I had attended. And this was in Vegas for the Bitcoin conference back in just this last year, back here in 2026. To kind of set the stage for you, Natalie Burnell had interviewed him in the whale room. That's that backstage VIP room. In it, he was interviewed and asked a lot of questions from Natalie. And that's what I want to cover today. This particular video, I was trying to pull up the details here. Obviously, I'm going to have it linked below, but it's credited to BrainSprout Studios. They had uploaded it. The link for the full video is going to be below. I would recommend listening to it. They do talk about quite a bit of other topics, but I'm going to focus on just one question and one answer. I was there. I was in the second row. I was literally about 10 feet from Eric Trump when she asked him this question.
Well, now they're crying about how there should be fairness. F you.
Whoops, that was not it. Sorry, I didn't have it queued up the way I thought I did. Let me see if I can get this here. That was pretty epic, though. Here it is.
Setting aside the media headlines, there are so many people who they got behind your family at the last campaign, and they bought Trump token and WLFI, and now they're down a lot. What do you say to that?
Well, I think the exact opposite. I think the people, the early investors in World Liberty Fund were buying at 1 penny, and look where it is right now. And I think it's been phenomenal. And look how well we've done on this side. I don't think there's any company. When you look at American Bitcoin, that's.
Did you hear that? He thinks just the opposite. he thinks about the early investors that got in at 1 penny. Look how well we've done on this side. Natalie literally asks him, what do you have to say to the millions of people that have lost money in your family's projects? And he talks about how the early investors who got in at 1 penny are doing well. And look how well we've done on this side. We're going to take a look at some of the charts and see exactly what's going on here. So here we have Trumpcoin. Don't know how many of you have followed this. I have. Trumpcoin is down if we go to just the beginning of the year. Down about 65%, right? If you go all the way back to the peak of day 1 and day 2, and you measure this out, it's down roughly 98%. If at any time you had bought it between yesterday or back when it launched, you're down. You've lost money, right? Now, remember how this token was launched. You want to think back and remember, how did the Trump coin actually start? So I remember specifically because I had an invitation to go to this annual, it's the first inaugural crypto ball in DC. I decided not to go for reasons I don't need to discuss here. They're not really germane to the actual conversation. I decided not to go. I was a little bit bummed out. Saw a whole bunch of people having a good time out there. So I was online watching it, watching some of the feeds and tweets come out. And while this happened, Trump's X account posted this new coin, the Trump coin. And it was during the conference. So number one, it made sense. During this ball, he releases his token, but it didn't have any details. It had the Solana address next to it. And remember, this is back in the hype when Pump.Fun was going crazy. And so my first thought was, well, there's no details and nobody's talking about it at the ball. This has to be a hack. His account got hacked. This is exactly how hacks happen too and scams start. An account gets hacked, they post a Solana address, making it look like the person that posted it is really doing it, and it's really just a rug pull. People put money into it and they instantly drain it, and it's done within an hour. But then a second hour passes and there's nothing. No one there at the conference knew about it. Like there was a gentleman live streaming and walking up to people. Somebody must have told him about the coin. And he's like, what do you think about the Trump coin? What coin? I don't hear about it. They'll talk to some officials in the administration there. Some people that, we're not going to call them in the inner circle, but they're part of the administration. If there was a launch, they should know about it. And they hadn't even heard about it. Nobody there knew what was going on. And here I am sitting at home trying to figure out, is this real or not? And I don't want to get too deep on what I did, but I checked Eric's Twitter account. Nothing. No, hey, my dad got hacked. Don't click on any links. Don't buy any crypto scams. Went to Don Jr.'s page. Nothing. Now keep in mind, no warnings, but also no hype. They didn't retweet it. They didn't share it saying, hey, we're happy to launch this. Nothing. I even went to Melania's account, which nothing would be announced there. The White House page. Nothing. I couldn't find anything anywhere. I actually ended up putting some money into it. I'll talk about that in a minute. It wasn't actually until the next day that it was confirmed to be not a hack. But also the explanation was there was no utility. That was the key part for me. There was no reason for this coin. Not even if they feigned like a use case for it or even vaguely reference some kind of claim of why you should own it. Let's take a look at World Liberty Financial. So if we do the same thing here, go back to the beginning of the year, World Liberty Financial, just roughly beginning of the year till now, it's also down 60% year to date. I mean, if you go back to when it launched, if you were one of the ones that were lucky enough to get into it, an accredited investor and a whole bunch of other stuff, you're down 80%. 80% on World Liberty Financial token. That's insane. But remember, Eric doesn't see it that way. I mean, everybody would have lost money on this project. Everybody. But what did he say? Look how well we've done on this side. Those early investors that got in at 1 penny. Who's he talking about? Early investors. Well, he's talking about the people that are elite, They have insider access. They're friends of the family. They have unique relationships with the family to be able to get in before anybody else can. And he's saying they got in at a penny. Look at how good they're doing. Well, sure. It's at 5 cents right now. They've 5x their money even after losing 80% value after it got launched. Put another way, this is who he's talking about. Right here, this yellow line, the 1 penny mark. These are the people that had insider access. They're friends of the family. They're elite. They're not you and me. They're not retail. They're not even Bitcoiners. They're not even wealthy. It's specifically people in their inner deep circles that have the ability to get into these projects before they're launched. Of course they're happy. But remember, Natalie's question wasn't about that. She had specifically asked him about the people that have lost money. Those are the early investors. Those are the ones that got in under a penny. If you were, the rest of the interview, he goes on to explain what he thinks about his projects, how great they are, and what's going on. And he also, you'll notice he blames Bitcoin for causing these perceived issues, which is an interesting spin. He literally tries to gaslight an entire industry, a community, everyone that was in this room. Yes, this is the whale room. There's a lot of wealthy people in this room, not all of them, but most of them. And he's even gaslighting us. You know, in the end, Eric, your family has done more to harm Bitcoin adoption than good. Because of your projects, millions have lost money. Because of your projects, people are confusing Bitcoin with crypto and crypto with Bitcoin. Make no mistake about it, my man. Crypto is garbage. World Liberty Financial is trash. Trumpcoin is a shitcoin. And this is coming from a fan of the Trump family, and somebody who miraculously 7x'd my own personal gamble in the script. And only because, remember, when I told you about the next day when they actually confirmed it wasn't a hack and there wasn't any utility, I got out. I literally put money in and the next day took it out. That's how I 7x my investment. I made money on this and I'm still telling you it's trash and it's garbage and you're wrong. Natalie, God bless you for asking this question face to face to him. On behalf of all those people that lost money in these scams, that must have took real courage. I feel disgusted that I didn't actually stand up and walk out. I was disgusted sitting there listening to that response. I got to live with the fact that I sat there. I wasn't sure if the talk was being recorded. I found out later the conference wasn't actually recording like they had in years past. And I was second row. I just didn't want to make a scene. But I felt disgusted at it. Eric, I actually do love you, my man. But this was wrong, and you know it. To lighten the mood a little bit, I'm going to share with you a bucket list item that I didn't know I had until I experienced it. I ended up having, in this talk, a 200-ish pound raging Secret Service agent walk right up to me, pointing, yelling, "No! No! No!" Just because I stood up with like 3 or 4 other people at the end of his presentation. I'm really disappointed the audio didn't catch it, but you can experience it here with me. So I got to just jump to the end here. Again, you can see this for yourself if you want. And then I think it's down here. Let's go a little bit further so you don't have to hear all the ending. Okay, here we go. So you'll see the Secret Service agent come out. I laugh at it every time.
The Trump reverse Bitcoin president. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
He walked right up to me and pointed and was yelling, "No, no, no." So anyway, I'm glad this person had posted that video there. Yeah, bucket list item crossed off. If you haven't experienced that, I would not recommend it. To wrap up, I do want to just mention crypto scams come in all shapes and sizes. They're sugar coated in many different ways, usually to seem more appealing than Bitcoin itself. But let's be honest, a scam is a scam. A grifter is a grifter. Just avoid that. Buy Bitcoin, self-custody it, and ignore the noise for what it is. Just noise. Thanks for watching today. You'll see some changes coming up in future episodes. I think you're going to like it. But for now, if you don't have any Bitcoin, just get off of zero. But if you do have Bitcoin, keep stacking sats. See you guys again. Take care.